Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we'll be talking about a special watch. It's special for a number of reasons. Not just because it's titanium, and not only because it looks like an animated watch from 20 Leagues Under the Sea. So this crystal actually looks like the vault into the bathyscaphe. This is just insane, the way this watch looks. And hey, this is a real dive watch, right? So it actually gets a very good, very nice, good resistance on this 120 click unidirectional bezel. So this watch is something else. I have not had anything like it on this channel before, and I want to talk about it in quite a bit of detail. So the link to the listing will be in the description below the video, so do check it out if you're after a sharp price. And now let's dive in and talk about this titanium WM200 watch. Let's do it. Imagine looking down into a portal, like the entry hatch of a vintage submersible. That's exactly the feel you get with the WM200. Its highly domed, boxed mineral crystal almost seems animated, like a gateway to the bathyscaphe itself. It has this 20,000 leagues under the sea vibe, a truly authentic nod to vintage dive watch design. The case is crafted from real titanium, giving it a muted, almost industrial sheen that shifts subtly in the light. And while this is a considerable piece of hardware, the titanium keeps the weight remarkably low. Even with its robust build, the watch head tips the scale at just 75 grams, something that would feel much heavier in stainless steel. Now, let's talk proportions. At 39.5 millimeters in diameter, with a 47 millimeter lug-to-lug and a 20 millimeter lug width, it sits bold but not oversized. The thickness? A solid 16.7 millimeters, much of which comes from that tall, slightly domed crystal. Sure, it's not sapphire, but the AR coating does its job, keeping reflections minimal while still showcasing that beautiful gradient dial beneath. From the side profile, you'll notice those tall, flat flanks, lean yet assertive, with just a hint of muted reflection from the dark titanium finish. And here's where things get really distinctive. Instead of the usual printed or engraved bezel markings, the WM200 features titanium pips, raised markers at 15, 30, 45, and 60, each one slightly larger, with laser engraved numerals. It's a tactile, almost sculptural detail that really sets this watch apart. From the top, the WM200 looks almost deceptively simple, a circular dial within a circular case. But shift your view to the profile, and the complexity really reveals itself. You notice the heavy downturn of those fat, muscular lugs, which dramatically shape the wearing experience. They're not just aesthetic, they pivot the leather strap almost straight down, visually compressing that already modest 47 millimeter lug-to-lug length. It's a clever design that makes a chunky 16.7 millimeter thick watch wear more compact than you'd expect. The transitions are beautifully handled. The lug hoods flow into the case flanks via smooth, well-finished bevels. It's all precision machining. No harsh edges, just soft, deliberate curves. Even with all the rounded corners and vintage cues, the design retains its crispness. The details remain well-defined, keeping the watch firmly in that sweet spot between rugged and refined. Then your eye is drawn to the right-hand side, where something unusual waits. The crown isn't exposed like a standard diver. Instead, it's protected by an integrated lever-style crown guard clasp, a nod to historic submersible tool watches. To adjust the time or change the date, you first pop open that clasp, which swings outward with a satisfying mechanical click. Only then can you pull out the titanium crown and make your adjustments. It's a functional flourish, yes, but it's also a tactile experience, reinforcing that vintage, almost steampunk submarine character this watch carries so well. Now let's talk about the bezel, because this is where titanium really surprises you. At first you'd think a titanium bezel might feel light, maybe even loose, but here it's anything but. It's tall enough to give real presence without overhanging the case, and the fine coin edge threading around its side gives you excellent grip. It's not overly aggressive, just precise, grippy, and refined. When you rotate it, the resistance is heavier than expected, deliberate and reassuring. Every click feels engineered, crisp, and clean, with an audible snap that speaks to its build quality. The rotation cycle stays perfectly consistent all the way around, with alignment dead on at 12. Yes, there's the slightest backplay, but it's so minimal it barely registers. Overall, it's a bezel that feels solid, satisfying, and confidence-inspiring, something you can rely on. Now let's talk about the strap, because it completes that vintage-inspired aesthetic perfectly. This tan calf leather strap feels substantial yet supple, with clean beige stitching along the edges. Flip it over and you're met with a soft, suede-like lining that feels great on the wrist. It's a genuine 3mm thick calf strap, built to last and ready to develop character over time. Practicality? Absolutely. It's got quick release spring bars, making swaps effortless, and the standard 20mm lug width means endless pairing options. The clasp itself is titanium, solid, oversized, and ready for action. No signature here, but it's forgivable given the material choice. On the underside, you'll find a titanium screw-down caseback, secured with 6 screws. It's clean, unsigned, and classic, reinforcing the watch's purposeful, tool-like vibe. And now we reach the most captivating part of this watch, the crystal and the dial beneath it. The crystal itself is a heavily domed and boxed mineral crystal, not sapphire, but with a single dome construction that adds a fascinating distortion when viewed from the edges. There's even a subtle blue anti-reflective coating, visible when you catch it at just the right angle. Surrounding it is a wide titanium bezel, which frames a surprisingly compact crystal diameter of just 27mm within the 39.5mm case. It's like peering through a submarine hatch into something hidden and purposeful, and what you see below is simply stunning. A gradient gray dial, lightening toward the center and fading to near black along the outer edge. There's no chapter ring, just clean hour markers, elongated batons at 6, 9, and 12, with round lume plots for the rest. At 3 o'clock, a crisp date cutout keeps everything symmetrical. The dial text is minimal, just the WM logo at 12, and automatic 10 ATM at 6, letting the texture and gradient do all the talking. The hands are skeletonized, with lume carefully applied along the tips. And when the lights go out, the lume setup really shines, literally. The hour markers and hour hand glow green, while the minute and second tips glow in cool blue, giving you instant clarity and a splash of color contrast. As with most WM watches, it's bright, long-lasting, and incredibly legible. Beating beneath it all is the Miyota 8215 automatic movement, a reliable workhorse with a 42-hour power reserve, 21,600 vibrations per hour, and hand-winding capability, though it lacks hacking seconds. It's robust, time-tested, and perfectly suited for a tool watch with vintage charm like this. So there we go, that's the WM200. I think quite an exciting watch. It does have its shortcomings, but then on the other side, it's got a lot of uniqueness and positive points to it. Anyways, thank you for watching. The link to the listing will be in the description below the video, so do check it out if you're after a sharp price. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.